Hello, my brothers, sisters, my colleagues, my friends. A friend of mine, who is actually a very young fellow, asked me to address his problem, well, one of his problems, that is spondylosis. Now, what is spondylosis? It is a problem with the spine when, well, basically, we are being explained by our professionals that this is like arthritis of a spine. Now, we have to understand that spine is created by vertebra, small parts, small bones, which are separated with the discs. These discs are basically cartilage of different density, a little softer in the middle and a little harder around to keep its shape. Now, what do these discs are there for? What do they serve? Well, we know that every joint, whenever two bones are being put together and create articulation, they are not fixed, the movement has to be well lubricated. And this is why always the joining parts are covered with a cartilage, because it is the smoothest tissue that body can produce. If you take glass is very smooth, and if you put another glass on top of it and you move it, well, it will move when you push it. The upper glass will move on the bottom glass. The bottom glass will stay put. Why? Because the surface underneath the glass is not as smooth, so it creates more friction. Since the glass is smooth and the other piece of glass on top of it is smooth, so if you push it, the glass will slide on the glass, keeping the bottom glass in its place. But if you do this, you are still going to hear a little sound, a little squeaky sound. Why? Because there is still friction going on. So if you start moving this glass back and forth rapidly, because of the friction, the glass is going to start heating up. And it is basically going to try to plane itself to be smoother and smoother, but it will start losing on the thickness. You will wear it off. So it warms up and it starts diminishing, it starts thinning. Now, what happens with a joint? Well, very similar thing. If you do not lubricate it, if you have dry cartilage and you make a lot of movements, then basically the cartilage is going to start getting thinner and thinner. You will wear it off as it's trying to smooth itself to perfection. And this is why, as we get older, we start getting problems. And as the cartilage diminishes, what we end up is bone touching bone. If that happens, that comes irritation. The bone right away is reacting to it with forming a callus. So it starts forming protrusions. And those protrusions, since they are periost, where bone grows from, and periost has sensory nerves, this becomes very uncomfortable and painful. Now, our spinal cord is basically the same, only we have many joints together, okay? And each one of them is separated by a disc made out of cartilage. Plus, then, its vertebra has a cartilage coating on each end. So this way, what is ensured is really very smooth movement. But then, because we are moving upright and a lot of pressure is being put on those joints of cartilage, the discs are a little thicker, and in the center they are more cushiony, flexible. It's a softer part of a cartilage. For this cartilage not to then protrude out as it squeezes, the borders are harder. So it's like a mattress, okay? Now, there is no problem when we are young, but as we get older, this cushion, this disc, becomes thinner and thinner because it's wearing off. Now, some people live 120 years, let's say, and some people start developing these problems when they are 40, 60. A friend of mine, he's 24, already with the problems, and we call it's old man disease, old person. I hate to use the term person because person is corporation. So, how come that old man's disease starts in the young body? And well, we can just give it a little look out here. What is causing it? Well, number one, it's aging. Okay? Risk factor. Well, who is at risk? Genetic tendency. They start with scapegoat first. Interesting. Then, being heavy, obese. Okay, this could at least make sense. Okay, so you are heavy, more pressure, faster deterioration. Although, whoever follows my work knows that body is a perfect robot that self-regulates and adjusts. So, weight should have not be any problem. Poor bears, they should be suffering from scoliosis very early in their life. Having injured spine, smoking, yeah, smoking, toxic. Symptoms. Well, symptoms are going to depend on how is the body affected by it. First, there's always going to be inflammation. Why? We'll get to it later. And because of the inflammation, there is going to be increased pressure, which will result in pain. So you will definitely have pain. And because of narrowing disc, wherever nerves are coming out between the vertebrae, there will be now jamming them, creating pressure, which results with two different things. Can result in a pain, but can result also with weakness. Signal doesn't go through. So weakness in arms, let's say, usually the neck is very much affected. Shoulders. Now, real big symptom, and you may not have any pain, but the big symptom of scoliosis is noisy spine. You move, and you hear clack, 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 clack. Okay? You make love to your wife and clack, 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 a skeleton, banging skeleton. Happened to me when I was 50. I actually burst laughing because the image of two skeletons popped up right away. Now, let's skip the unnecessary baloney and let's go to treatment. So how do you treat this? Number one, over-the-counter painkillers. It's treatment. Improve your posture. Well, what if your posture is fine and you suffer from this? My posture was fine. Posture of my friend is fine, but he suffers from the pain. Wear back support. That's a treatment. Okay? We know doctors know nothing about disease and they have no clue what causes it and how to heal it. Okay, they recommend massage, Well, pain relieves. But finally, if pain gets out of hand, surgery. And I promise the surgery is going to cause more damage and more pain. Always happens. Then it's another surgery to fix problems that were created by the first surgery, and then maybe triple, and then probably blocking and putting the spine in metal brace. Basically mobilize you so you just cannot move that part of the spine which has a problem. Of course, herniated disc can occur, but we can, if we go in details what every little problem that can be, we'll write a book here. But just basically, everybody who suffers from scoliosis knows well what is it all about. And those who don't, listen to this video and you know how to prevent it so you never get there. So what is happening? Similar like every other joint. If we are well hydrated on a cellular level, here we go, broken record, all right, broken record. I don't know, we'll probably have to hear it a billion times before it sits in. When we are hydrated well on cellular level, our cells are pressurized, full of plasma. We don't have to say water because no, when you squeeze it, water doesn't come out. Goo comes out, plasma. Now, when there's plenty of plasma within a cell, then when pressure is put on a joint, from a weight or whatever, then cartilage, cell of a cartilage, is going to squirt a little bit of water, plasma. And this is going to lubricate it. If you have a glass over glass, mirror over mirror, and it's squeaking, you just lift the upper mirror, put one drop of water, put it back, and because it is very plain, the water will spread almost through the whole glass. And then you can just do this, pang, and the glass is going to fly. And you can move it whole day and night like this and nothing is going to warm up because now it is lubricated. This is why you put oil in the engine. But our body uses plasma for lubrication. So as long as we are lubricated, we can jog on concrete, we can jump from the rock to a rock, we can be 150 kilos of weight, and we are going to be just fine, like a gorilla running around, sturdy, with no problems. But there is not only problem of this lubrication. When you are well hydrated, what holds the spine in its place? Muscles. They are connected from vertebra to vertebra, and it's a system of soft tissue and tendon-like tissue, and then tendons and muscles that hold it together. Once, when you start, and also when it holds it together, it holds it pressurized. So whenever you make movement, it is controlled movement and it doesn't flounder. It is controlled movement, this way, this way, this way, like a ball. But now, if you go into cellular dehydration, number one, cartilage will not release plasma when you squeeze it, when pressure comes, because there is no plasma to give. So now you're having dry glass, squeaky. But that is not going to make noise really. This is going to warm up the joint, so it is going to need additional cooling, and what happens? Joint may start accumulating little water there. But water, it's again plasma, retention. Very often we have this water in the knee, and first thing doctor does, wow, you cannot move now the knee because of this water will pump it out, will suck it out. Well, the purpose of it is to cool down the joint and also mobilize it so you don't use it too much because it is not in good shape. But again, doctors, what do we know? We are told to take it out, so we tell it, take it out. So now you have dry cartilage. It's being wasted away. As you move, it starts diminishing. Now you also have dehydrated muscles because you don't dehydrate. Dehydration comes because of toxic blood. And when blood is toxic, every cell in the body starts dehydrating, but the ones that are active dehydrate faster. More you use part of the body, the faster it will dehydrate. My friend was paramedic. He's paramedic but cannot work because of pain, but he was doing heavy lifting and most likely improperly positioning spine, and he was using one part of the spine, one part of the connections, and this is where it's going to wear out faster. And then it starts touching and spondylosis starts happening. You start getting the little protrusions that are growing up. And of course inflammation. This is very painful. But now when muscles are dehydrated, they lose tension. They become weak. Same with tendons. And now the joint is not anymore sturdy. It flounders. And it starts grinding in every other way, and it can grind in the wrong area, especially if you have a wrong posture. And now we are dehydrated, wrong posture. Here it is going to grind more on this end. You get spinal hernia in that part faster. Spondylosis faster. You put pressure on that part of the nerve faster. And according to this, followed symptoms are going to be adequate to whatever damage is being done. But when combination of these two is dehydrated cartilage and dehydrated muscles, everything moves, everything is dry, and then you get this sound of skeleton, clack, 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 clack in your body. You move your knee, clack, 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 clack. You move your neck, bah, it's orchestra, everything is sounding like crazy. Same is happening with the spine. You move the spine, it's clacking all the way. You can be eating something and you have a jaw clicking, clack, 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 clack. Same, it's all same system, but we put million names to this. Even scoliosis we put in several different places depending when, just so we sound smarter. So, surgery is the only way out basically for the doctors. Outlook is bleak because nobody gets better. Once when you start, it's worse because remember we are told it's age related, you don't get younger. Okay, so I don't want to go anymore into science we are being told, and let's just again explain from the point of the new science based on physics. We don't even have to go quantum here, just plain physics. As cells get dehydrated, they start shrinking. If you have a basketball and you start deflating it, it gets smaller, it gets flatter. Same happens with every cell in the body, same happens with the cartilage and with the disc. As discs get softer and smaller, you drop in a size. And you will see every old person is shorter than they were in the prime of their life. Not because bones got smaller, but because all the discs got thinner. In many cases, very thin. And of course, then you have all the other problems with nerves, herniated discs. And the body is trying to solve the problem by force hydrate, especially the injured part, and this creates inflammations. Every time, if you are in this condition, every time you pull something, and you pull, we say pull the muscle, because you gave muscle to do something, and muscle is weak, and as it's trying, it actually hurts itself. It may have small fractures within a muscle, within a tendon, within a cartilage itself. Happens seldom, but it could happen. So, of course, here the force hydration happens. We call inflammation. To forcefully, with increased localized increased pressure, to put some more plasma in the area, to try to cleanse it a little bit, and to allow the body to lubricate itself. But this creates pain. So we get painkillers and we forget about the pain, and we don't do nothing, and we allow body to continue deteriorating more rapidly, because now we don't even pay attention. And with exception of analgesics, other medication is basically pointed directly towards anti-inflammatory processes. And this is why all the patients end up on steroids as the most potent anti-inflammatory drug. And it doesn't affect only the bone, the joint, but it affects every tissue in your body. It's terrible stuff what doctors are doing, because they just simply don't understand, and they don't know what else to do, because they have no clue about healing, because they don't understand the problem, how it develops. And again, broken record, toxic blood. Cells will not hydrate with toxic blood, so they become dehydrated, they become acidic, and all these problems come right from the very same point. Now, can we do something about it? Of course. Help the body to detoxify. And how we'll do it? By hydration with plasma. You increase the plasma levels in the body by drinking plasma, water with minerals. And forget about the fulvic garbage. Sea salt. Cheapest stuff on the planet. If you are living next to the sea, don't even buy sea salt. Grab seawater. You can dilute it and drink it. This will ensure hydration and cleansing. Again, just check my video about deep cellular cleansing and hydration in general, and you get all the information there. This is why self-healers protocol is so effective, because it affects every cell in the body, every tissue, every organ, and results in healing, not in patch-up job. I have reports. So far 3 people have told me, and they were on protocol, basically eating correctly, hydrating correctly for over 2 years. And one said, Darko, I cannot believe I grew 1 inch. One grew a little bit less. The most was 1.5 inches that I've heard. Why you grow? Because you are going to rehydrate your discs, and they pop up and heal. And all your problems go away. You will rehydrate the muscles and the tendons, the connective tissue, and it all resumes working properly, keeps the joint locked in its place, stopping it from wobbling around, and all the noise stops, and then you move and you're like a child again. You can bend down, you can run, you can make love without listening to skeletons. You can eat without listening to your jaw clicking. It all heals. So will spondylosis. You stop periost touching periost, and calluses start going away. The spines that formed will dissolve because body does not support what it does not need. So, and this is not theory. This is proven. I'm working with this already. I'm helping clients for 18 years already. So, it just takes clear thinking. It takes the courage to get away from what we are being preached and absorb a new information and accept it. And follow the protocol. Nothing simpler than that. So, I hope, again, that this makes sense to you. Noise, I also had a clicking jaw. My neck was like a rusty door opening. Now, nothing. Nothing. Shoulders, nothing. Back, nothing. I'm rollerblading again. So, you don't have to trust me. And you should not trust me on my word. You should have your own brain, engage it, think of what I have said. Check some of my other work. Go in my blog, read, buy a book. If you cannot afford it, tell me, I'll send it to you. And learn. We don't need doctors, we need truth. We need the information, truthful information. And we heal. Pain goes away. Heavily rheumatic people with deformed joints, they heal. Pain goes away. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all.